Hello, this is Rich Goodwin for Pitlanes.com, and tonight I've got the UK&I F1 Club from Interlagos. I was starting in 6th, just behind Liam Williams and a few others around me. I'd not had much practice and I'd been finding it difficult with the grip around here. It was very, very bad, low speed, sort of pre-new Time Model 5 kind of grip. But anyway, for the start I was being uber cautious. I'm in the Ferrari. I've been very cautious, just feeling my way around, sort of thing. Liam Williams just ahead, George Lambert there to my right. Managed to take George here and tried to nip into the toe of Liam. And I noticed that George was going for the manoeuvre, so I knew he was faster, so I kind of let him have it. But then on turning, well, yeah, that happened. You know, bit both of our fault, I think. I didn't brake enough, maybe he broke a bit too much, whatever, racing incident, accident, didn't mean to do it. There's Brad Selmes behind me, sorry mate if I said your name wrong, and off we go. What I wanted to do actually was let George back past me, because that's just how I roll. That incident was my fault. It was like 2 0X's I think, and there's Tom Stanley. He's just had an excursion off into the grass, low speed spin by the looks of it, which you'll see more of later. But I'm just going wide into the final corner there for some reason. I don't know why I took that line. I think there's a bit of a bump there and I got on it and it just sent me a bit wide. But yeah, so out ahead of us is Rob Green, and behind me is Tom Stanley and George Lambert. And I could already see that we were catching Rob at a fair rate of knots, and I wasn't sure on Tom's pace. I'm pretty sure we've raced quite closely before, and George is normally fairly swift, so I knew I had to get on with it, sort of thing. I'd noticed though in practice and such that low speed issues seem to be back. I know in the last build they changed low speed versus high speed grip and things like that, and I've read on the forums that it's not related to that, it's something else, but apparently pumping up the tyres to max pressures helps, and that's what I did, and it seemed to help quite a lot compared to the forum set that you shared when I entered the room, the lobby sort of thing. So as you can see, I've got Tom and George very bunched up behind me. At this point I'm not too worried, I'm just driving my own race sort of thing, as Tom and George both have a bit of a moment out of the final corner there, and I'm just getting on with it because I was kind of hoping that they may slow each other up, and as you can see we're catching Rob still a lot quicker. But yeah, I was hoping Tom and George would sort of, a bit of sideways action and get slow each other up, but see George go wide at the first corner there, I didn't realise he did that. So just Tom behind me at the moment. And the car actually, it felt better in race 2 with higher fuel loads on. I'm not sure what that means, but it was a lot more stable and the car came to me a lot better on the setup. It felt really good towards the end in the second race, which I might do a video of that. It was a lot less eventful, shall we say. Just a bit wide here, allowing Tom a look, but he's on the outside, so yeah. So he's right behind me still, and I'm kind of just looking at Rob. I don't tend to look behind me too much unless it's corner entry, just to check where people are and things, but I'm not going to chop the nose off. But I mainly after Rob here because I'm wanting to overtake him. But genuinely I'm thinking I'd like to let George past, if possible at some point. If he catches just me up and I can let him past, I will do. It's just how I roll. If I take someone out and I can let them past on pace sort of thing, then I will do. Catching Rob really, really fast now. It was nearly a length to the start finish straight, and now you can see it's maybe 2 seconds there. Tom's still keeping me very, very honest, and George catching back up after his mistake. I was what I've done with my setup is I've taken the forum set that was shared in the race. I'd pumped all the tyres up to maximum because I read that helped on the forums. And also, I don't think it's this left-hander, it's the left-hander that leads to the final corner. Around there the rear was getting a bit loose, so I added 2 clicks of rear wing, so I didn't have to, well, I hoped I didn't have to worry, this corner here, didn't have to worry about the rear end around any of the trap because I'd have plenty of grip. But of course that compromised me in a straight line as Tom has another massive moment behind me, and I get alongside Rob and nip in behind him again back into the slipstream and then out alongside him across the start finish straight. But yeah, my setup compromised me heavily in a straight line, so despite having the draft etc on Rob there, it just wasn't enough to get past. So again, took in behind Rob and massive overspeed onto the straight here. George also gets along the inside. I'm thinking, right, how can I get past Rob and let George past? So I attempt to keep Rob out wide while I nip in, but George runs a little bit wide, has a moment, and giving him plenty of room on the outside there. And I'm actually leaving the door wide open. He had no idea I was doing this, but I was trying to leave the door wide open so he could get by me, in all honesty. Because that's what I wanted to happen. So stayed wide here, allowed him past. Tom gets past Rob, and Tom's right behind me. But then I have a moment just there, low speed issue. It's so annoying, you know. Really annoying because I sort of analysed my line lap after lap through there, and it just, I have no explanation for it. So I let George past. He'd got past me anyway, but I let him past. But then that mistake's allowed Tom and Rob back past me. Now I knew I had the pace to catch Rob, and I knew if I stood any chance of catching Tom, I'd have to get past Rob ASAP. Because I think in this race especially, I think Tom was a little bit faster. But I thought, you know, maybe if I can get past Rob and get the gap coming down, excuse me, if I can get the gap coming down, I might be able to cause him some issues, sort of thing. He might have a little mistake looking at his relative box, maybe. So I set out after Rob, and in fairness, I kind of expected to be past him quite quickly because of how quick. I mean, you can see there how quick I've caught him there. No disrespect to Rob, because in stuff like the Skippy he's fairly stellar, as I have another low speed issue, and then just cannot get the grip down at all. At the rear, you'll see it around the next corner as well, I think. Or is it out the final corner? Just give it a sec. Yep, just there. And it feels really random when it happens, you know? It's not like... So I was reading earlier on in this season, no, not this season, last season, sorry, before they made more changes to New Tyre Model 5. If you had an issue on the New Tyre Model 5, you knew why you was having that issue, compared to before where you were confused as to why. I'm back into the range of I'm confused as to why I'm having an issue, if that makes sense. Like, last time I drove this was at Suzuka last season, and every time I lost it, I knew exactly why, what I'd done wrong, and what I could do to fix it, like the technique or whatever. Here, each time I've lost it, I've been gentle on the throttle, and gentle on the steering, everything, and the arse has just come round. And that's running higher downforce than most of the people in this race as well, so I really don't know. To me, there's no difference to my line there as to last lap. But yeah, I'm on to Rob, and just aiming to get past him, because I think it's because of my setup. I was faster basically everywhere apart from the straights. So like, I'm crawling all over the back of him, go out wide here. It's close, he gives me enough room, but it's close. And here you go, look, I get alongside him, but I just can't go any faster, so give him the line, hope I can cut back, but he doesn't go wide. So stay on him down the straight, get as much of a toe out as possible, dive to the inside because I was really close to him, I'm thinking, yep, got him here, but no speed down the straight, so I just get alongside him, and I kind of worried about not being able to brake in time, so I broke a little bit early, allowing him back into the position. But then all through this twisty section, I mean, I let off a bit there. I'm just cautious, you know. I've already had one incident with George. I didn't want another one with Rob, because I like both the guys, they're good racers. So I'm just getting as close as I can, really, without being dangerous. Because there's no room around this section to overtake. Me straight lining that exit to try and get the run down here, because this is where I know I could go full throttle, and then a good exit on the final corner, and into slipstream again, round to the outside because he had the inside covered, and basically exactly the same as last lap. I'm around the outside, but there's no overspeed at all. I've got nothing. So again, brake early, cut it in, and hope he goes wide. He broke it back onto the apex there. So again, get in the toe and hope I can make a move down the straight. He goes to the inside this time, so I'm like, okay. So I just stand the outside, again, hoping he brakes early or brakes late, one of the two. I cut back, nowhere on the inside, he's got that line covered. And again, do the same here, he's got the inside covered still. Nothing wrong with his driving at all. I'm not complaining about his driving. It's all good, really predictable and good. It was just he was positioning his car perfectly. Another low speed issue there. I just can't explain it. I really can't, because there weren't even that many revs on. I was short shifting as well to try and alleviate it in some way. It didn't take long to be back with Rob again. He has a little bit of a traction issue out of the final corner there. Again, into his toe, and I'm thinking maybe this is how I should do it. Come from a bit further back, and maybe when he takes his normal line, jump to the inside, and just get position on him. And barely happens. He was very respectful, giving me the space. I knew he was still there, so I gave him the space on the second part there. Bit of a wiggle from me, he avoids me, goes out wide, and drops in behind me. It was a great little battle that. I mean, I think by the end of the race I pulled away about 8 seconds. I know he had an issue, he had a little spin, but you know, I did have more pace. He was just extremely hard to overtake, and I think it kind of underlines how difficult it is to overtake around here. I think as well, like I say, I compromised myself on my setup, and then coming out of the next corner you're going to see Rob have a little issue, and then that's all she wrote for the next 3 laps. I just circulated on my own. And then here you've got the result, which shows Dean Prescott winning, Liam Williams in 2nd, Andy Baker 3rd, me down in 7th, followed by Rob Green, George Lambert just ahead. Cheers guys.